More people than ever are picking up jobs where they choose when and how long they work for, like driving a minicab or delivering parcels, for example. For many, the flexibility suits their lifestyle, but it can come at a price.
There's thousands of drivers working for taxi firm Uber, currently classed as self-employed, so they don't get the benefits that people in full-time employment are entitled to, like sick pay or paid holidays. Yesterday, a tribunal ruling changed that. Uber says it will fight the decision, but what does it mean for the many thousands of people working this way? We're joined now by Hannah Reid from the TUC, Sam Dumitriu from the Adam Smith Institute. Hannah, welcome to both of you. Hannah Reid, if you could just explain for us, what do you think of the significance of this ruling yesterday?
Well, the decision by the Employment Tribunal yesterday is a major step forward in terms of providing better rights for people in insecure employment, particularly for those put in false self-employment. But what the case also showed is the dark side of the new gig economy, where employers are ducking out of their basic employment rights responsibilities and individuals are losing out on core rights such as the right to holiday pay, the right to take rest breaks, and also even the right to be paid the national living wage. So we welcome the decision. It's definitely a step in the right direction, but it's just the start of what needs to happen.
So, Sam Dumitriu from the Adam Smith Institute, this is people getting what they should have had in the first place.
This has been framed as a victory for Uber drivers. It's far from it. I think the problem is that of the 40,000 Uber drivers who are working in the UK, the vast majority don't want to be classified as workers. Uber actually commissioned a poll about a month ago at the end of September and found that most Uber drivers actually wouldn't trade things like minimum wage, paid holiday, rest breaks for less flexibility in their workplace. And unfortunately, it's going to mean less flexibility for drivers because you can't just raise wages across the board. You can't just add a paid holiday. Uber will claw that back, probably through higher commission, probably through requiring drivers to spend more time actually when they've got the app on accepting jobs. Currently, drivers are free to refuse jobs if they so choose, but they might have less flexibility in that way. So I think it will lead to a worse service for consumers, and it will probably knock up prices as well.
So, Hannah, the unions who've been involved in pushing through this legal case, I mean, on the one hand, you're interested in making sure people get their working rights, but also getting what the workers want. The evidence seems to be that lots of Uber drivers just didn't want this.
Well, it's very clear that some people choose to be self-employed, but what yesterday's case showed is that actually Uber has a huge amount of control over the way that drivers perform. In fact, I believe if a driver doesn't accept 3 jobs within a short period of time, they're deactivated, i.e. they're shut out of the Uber system, which was one of the reasons why the Employment Tribunal said, no, actually these people are dependent workers and Uber has responsibilities towards them. The TUC is not against flexibility.
Forgive me for interrupting. What if some of those drivers you're talking about, and some of the ones who will be affected in the future, what if they didn't want to be employed? What if they wanted to remain self-employed? They no longer have that opportunity.
Well, if individuals genuinely want to be self-employed, to be running their own business, they should have the freedom to do that. Our concern is that increasingly people are being forced into false self-employment arrangements, which are often low paid. And it's not just Uber drivers. There are also couriers who deliver parcels to our door every day, who have no safety net, who don't get paid if we're not in to accept the parcel when it's being delivered. We believe that such workers deserve better protection in the workplace.
OK, Sam, sorry, it's a limited amount of time. I'm just keen to get your response to that, because Uber, you've cited that some Uber drivers didn't want the change, but there'll be plenty of other workplaces where people really would like those rights.
Well, I mean, I'm just talking about Uber at this point, but that's 5 to 1 of Uber employees, and most people I speak to who are self-employed tend to be satisfied with that greater degree of flexibility. And I think that we've been talking about the minimum wage as well, but I think it's a real distraction because the average Uber driver earns something like £16 an hour after you factor in the cuts the cut that Uber takes. So they are actually earning well above the minimum wage. Even once you take into account the driver's own costs, that still only falls to something like £12, and that's higher in London, and that's higher if they drive later in the night at peak times, for instance. Okay. So I think a lot of the benefits that are potentially on offer to Uber drivers from this ruling, they don't really need. I think they're much more happy with that greater degree of flexibility.
Okay,
Many say that flexibility lets them have more time with their family. About 50% said they were able to spend more time with their kids as a result.
Sam,
I think it'd be really sad if we lost that.
We will have to leave it there. Thank you very much for your time this morning. Sam Dumitriu is from the Adam Smith Institute, Hannah Reid from the TUC. Thank you both very much.
Time now is 9 minutes to 9. The clocks go back tonight. For most of us, that means a precious extra hour in bed. Perhaps for parents, though, with young children, the 6 a.m. wake-up call could actually just be